Hi, I'm Sam Arano for the Avocado, and today I'm going to talk about the Israeli economy. I am almost certain this is going to be the least watched episode of this series, so heads up. But it is important. For most of its 70-year history, Israel has been classified as a third world or developing nation. One of the few Middle Eastern countries without oil, the land has no significant natural resources and throughout the 20th century subsisted on a heavily nationalized economy of agriculture, tourism, and finished goods. Despite this, growth was rapid and the country maintained a sophisticated social welfare system and widespread unionization. But the cracks began to show and the transition to a more market-based economy caused widespread inflation. But then everything changed in the 1990s. First, the Soviet Union collapsed and Israel ended up with 1 million new highly educated citizens ready to get to work. Second, Israel signed a peace treaty with Jordan, freeing up a huge sector of the economy and workforce to shift from defense to civilian investment. Tel Aviv became a tech hub, the GDP exploded, Israel joined the OECD in 2010, and now most Israelis enjoy a quality of life measurably higher than that in some other developed nations. Today, wages are on the rise, and the country is enjoying its first labor shortage since the days of a predominantly state-controlled economy. But this isn't working for everyone. Israel today has greater wealth inequality than the United States. Greater Tel Aviv, home to 40% of the country's population, may be a job seeker's market, but the same can't be said for the north, south, or even Jerusalem. Most Arabs, who constitute a fifth of Israelis, haven't seen the same success rates as the Jewish majority. And the ever-growing proportion of ultra-Orthodox men are often out of the workforce entirely by religious conviction. While the new economy makes household names out of corporate titans, 1 in 5 Israeli children go hungry at night. Even for those benefiting from the new economy, the cost of living is going up and wages are at a standstill, culminating in a series of student protests in 2011 led by Itzik Shmuli and Stav Shafir, now members of the Knesset as part of the left-wing Zionist Union. So what is the government doing about it? I'm glad I asked. Early in this decade, the Netanyahu government negotiated free trade agreements with the US and EU, lowered value-added taxes and duties that disproportionately affected the poor and middle class, and broke up large monopolies like the communications giant Bezeq, which is why I pay $10 a month for phone and internet. But as coalition partners have come and gone, the government has become ever more right-wing, and the ruling Likud party has begun making eyes at major privatization. They've already privatized El Al and Bank Leumi, and the Prime Minister himself has even discussed privatizing Israel's land, which has almost all historically belonged to the state and thus kept costs low for much-needed infrastructure projects. To say nothing of Mr. Netanyahu's coziness with the country's newly minted oligarchs, but that's for another video. And Likud isn't even the most economically conservative party. Coalition partner the Jewish Home has flirted with discredited trickle-down economics and the works of Ayn Rand. The opposition, for its part, has advocated expanding housing, increased public expenditure, and protecting unions. And in response to Likud's rightward shift, several former party members have broken away to form their own party called Kulanu. So how is this affecting the political landscape? Hardly at all. Obviously, an economic crisis would have ended the current partisan alignment. But things are going well enough for enough people that economics is not a major factor for Israeli voters right now. Even I would rather be poor here than poor in the United States, where I could get medical treatment for inability to pay inflated market prices, and most Israelis didn't even grow up knowing the kind of prosperity I did. Even during the Great Recession, the spike in national unemployment was tempered by a larger trend away from even higher jobless rates in the 1980s and 90s. And since natural gas deposits have been discovered on the edge of Israel's exclusive economic zone in the Mediterranean, both the cost of energy and rate of inflation have plummeted. Despite repeated threat of this government's collapse, the economy is the one thing keeping it together and popular, and that could be a blessing as well as a curse. Tune in next week when we discuss security policy. Oh, God. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For the Avocado, I'm Sam Arano.